gentlemen, and welcome back to FTRL. It is the final action of the week, and it is the second night of the Red Bull Juniors here at Sardegna A, which meets the halfway point of our FTRL career mode season. And tonight then it is the first of the endurance races as well then, so the short sprint races are now behind us. From here on out we are looking at slightly longer races, more tactical coming into play in terms of tyre and fuel wear to be thinking about. This first action with the little Red Bull Junior X2014s out on track. So let's go on board with first on track, who's at the very head of this train. It is T. Smith, of course, with the tedious inevitability. We've got a restart warning, so something has gone wrong. Somebody hasn't got out. Several drivers look like they haven't got out of the pits. So some dramas have befallen us already, as they did last night, unfortunately. However, thankfully it happened at the beginning tonight, so hopefully everybody will be able to get in at the second time of asking. So just do bear with us. Of course, last night it was the first night of the Red Bull Junior cars, and TMC Jono, who's making his debut in FTRL GT Sport this season, he took the victory in a very tight affair at the end there with unsafe release. Those two former rivals in F1 have brought their rivalry over to FTRL GT Sport, and they were duking it out for the win. They were the class of the field last night. Jono, having led for a majority of the, in fact probably most of the race to be honest, had to fend off a late charge from unsafe release, which he did by the smallest of margins, and claim his first win in FTRL. And so we're just waiting for a new lobby to go up. Unfortunately we've already hit the technical gremlins. Several drivers unable to get out of the pits, so fingers crossed, second time is the charm. Just waiting for a new lobby to go up. Goikart straight in the chat, wishing good luck to all. Good luck and getting out the pits is the first drama we're all having. Just waiting for a new lobby. Then what are the Red Bull X2014 cars that we're going to be using tonight? And so these are cars that were designed specifically for Gran Turismo. They've been around for a couple of the games now. There's two versions. There's a Junior and a, well, it's called X2019, which is sort of the bigger car. They're designed by Red Bull, and they kind of give a bit of an insight into, given creative freedom, the sort of cars that some of the designers who work in F1 might have created. So there's two versions. Obviously the Junior car was a slightly smaller, less powerful version, and obviously the X2019 is the bigger sort of Formula 1 sort of style car. Both the same weight though, so with the massive power difference, the X2019 cars represent a interesting prospects. They produce some great racing. They're often used in the GT Sport World Finals and produce some great racing, but this season we're using the Juniors. Lobby is up, so fingers crossed this time. Could admire my beautiful striped light go-kart, which I will be racing in the Nations Cup tomorrow at the Red Bull Ring Short. Straight in with a prediction of Mikey SBY and Goy for top 3 tonight. See if that one pays off for him. I'm sure he's got good odds at the bookies on that one. Good drive. Going out. We'll take on board with Rom. So he heads out of the pits. Pick you on a lap of Sardegna A, which is the second one of the original game. So start finish straight. One of the best overtaking opportunities. You go over Christopher Hill, and then you're stamping down the gearbox into turn 1. This tricky left on the line, the curve on the inside, grapple on the outside can catch you out. And quick through a sweeping S section, and then to turn 4, second heavy braking zone. Turn in, down a couple of gears, keep left, because you quickly flick into a right-hander. Again, narrows on exit. There's a little bit of curb there on the left to use, and a short sprint up then towards the church. Looking for a late braking marker for this long sweeping left-hander. Took in. Ron has gone around there, so that's not helping our lap of Sardegna. Might get it quickly. He's just going to do donuts now. He's just going to do donuts now. So qualifier about to get underway. Attempt 2. It's crossed. This time everybody can get out of the pits. Hopefully a little bit on the way. We'll go on board with SBY then, try and get a lap in this time. Cockpit cam, so again then through turn 1. Gravel on the right hand side. And quickly through turns 2 and 3. This fairly easy S section. To turn 4. Down a couple of gears to 4th, and then down a couple more gears to 2nd for turn 5. The right hander. Use the curb on the exit, mind the grass. Everybody's out of the pits this time, so we seem to be good to go. To turn 5 then, it's a long sweeping left-hander, tuck in, narrow, it narrows on exit. On the on the outside, that will stunt your progress all the way up this hill. Through the sweeping turn 6 and driving up the hill under the bridge. Through the left-hander of turn 7, and then a heavy braking zone. Down all the way to 2nd gear. For the left-hander hairpin. Again, there was an exit, and then this nice sweeping section, and through 8. So we might letting T. Smith go through, so we'll jump aboard with him as he's now at the peak. Now this corner here, this left-hander is particularly tricky. It's high speed, top gear, 6th gear, but it narrows on the exit. Going down all the way to 2nd gear, to 1st. I'm backing it in there to the hairpin. Pull to the corner, mind the arm corner on the right-hand side there. And then you're now driving up to the final corner. Just a flat right hand kink and get on to the start finish straight. And that is a lap of Sardegna, so let's see how they get on. Of course, Team Devil took the victory last night. T. Smith and Nobby Norwich make it 2. See, they're attacking the first corner. These cars are quite lively. They've got a lot of downforce, a lot of grip, but the back end of this car is particularly lively. So far. Ooh, so that gets a little bit wobbly there coming out of turn 5. Apexes nicely. All the track on the exit. And now the speed starts to build. The bridge he comes. Picking his braking marker all the way down to 2nd gear. Follow the hairpin, sweeps around nicely. A little bit wide, ooh, a little bit wide there, just clips the barrier. A little bit scruffy lap from T. Smith. SBY now visibly closer behind him, so he will likely jump to on the top of the time sheets for the first flying laps, provided he gets these couple of corners right. Firstly, quickly up 2nd just to settle the car. On that wall on the right hand side, it does stick out. To start finish right, and so here comes the first flying laps. We were looking at high 36s in qualifying last night. T. Smith's first one is a 37.5. However, he was quickly observed by SBY, who does a 37.0. Junkie Sport, he goes 4th. Pagani jumps up to P2. Just pips T. Smith, got a scruffy lap, so Pagani must have also had a scruffy lap as well. Port into P4, Steph into P5, and Junkie Sport with Rom down in P7, so not the best opening lap from him. Just Mikey in P8, although quickly gets demoted as drivers ahead of him pop through. Bieber up to P5. Sport down P7, Spike in P8. Of course, Spike unfortunately was one of the victims of the issues we had last night. Corway up in P9, so he had a good opening lap. 42.8 as well, well off the pace you'd expect for him. Nobby Norris though, just Mikey Devil's Nightmare, blue flag. 36.8. So some dramas. He's got in for some fresh tyres. Lennon just setting his first line run here, so I'm not quite sure what Lennon's been doing so far. Potentially not adjusting his power settings. He's getting overtaken in a straight line with the toe. Hopefully he's remembered to adjust the power. He has needed himself before the race. Can get in and stop it in there. The front runners then pitting in for fresh tyres. Top 4 in as Ron Elson goes P2. As Lennon adjusted his power, he's now stopped on track. He's just letting those cars go. Still SBY who holds the fastest lap, 37.0. He's now onto a flying lap. We've got some traffic though, which he'll... I think he's just come out the pits actually, so should be okay. We're on our P2 as Pagani 30, Smith down in P4, Step up in P5, good qualifying for him so far. Data Bolt in P6, just Mike up in P7, so he's had a good opening run. 38.4, that's one of his fastest laps. He was happy to get into the 39s the other night, so massive improvement there into the mid 38s. Had a Junkie Sport, Fever down now in P9. Spike in P10, and Robin Norris P11, Corboy in P12. That was Nightmare 13th. Blue flag still gets set a representative lap time, he's on a 45.0. Should have time for a couple more runs though. Moment. And hopefully he's sorted his car out now. Start be the final runs. Rom goes fastest of all. Gets a slipstream there off of Junkie Sport, his teammate. And he takes provisional pole. SBY now has to respond. This is his outlap, so he's now starting his final flying run. There's Pagani, he's about to start his final lap as well. Smith just up the road, he's just started his final run. Steph up in P5, still a good qualifier from Steph. P6, just Mikey. Improving on that lap. He's brought in 9th now as somebody just jumped up the order. It was Blue Flag who's got to P6. Just 0.003 per second shy of Steph and just over half a tenth ahead of Dart Bolt. It's very tightly packed. That then makes a jump up. 14th. Lennon up to... he goes up to 14th. Joe going to do an out lap. Look who we're looking at then in terms of time. T. Smith is probably he's just behind SBY, so SBY is pulling around T. Smith. Maybe getting some slipstream there perhaps, might just be a little bit too far back. SBY is up in the middle sector and he is 1.5 tenths up through the middle part of the lap. So looking to steal back that provisional pole position. Going to 36.9. So a 36.5 in the practice session just before qualifying started. So there's definitely time in there for some of these boys. Junkie Sport improves to a 38.1. Solidifies P8 for him. Comes SBY then, driving for the line. Does he snatch back provisional pole? He does. Behind him, T. Smith steals it from him. Dart Bolt goes up to P4. Pagani then snatches pole with a 36.5. Who we got coming around? Blue Flag coming out the final corner now. Can he improve? He's down in P7. Drives for the line. Does he improve? He does. He goes to P6, so he dispossesses Steph, who was already finished. Is anybody still coming around? Spike's just crossing P10. Fever out of the final couple of corners. He's got his teammate in front of him for a slipstream. Devil might have got in the way there, he has. The slipstream has not worked out there for him. Pagani then finds his 1 lap pace and takes pole position. T. Smith then 1.5 tenths back. He jumped SBY to the tune of 2 tenths. So Rom, who was on provisional pole as the final lap started, ends up P4. Dartbolt in P5. Blue Flag P6. Steph is 7th. Junkie Sport in 8th. Mikey will be starting in 9th ahead of Spike. With Feber in 11th. Nobby Norris P12. Callboy in 13th. And in 14th. And Devil's Nightmare will be the final runner on the grid. Still trying to figure out what Len's done to his car. And then if you're listening, did you adjust the power up to 132%? Not just the level 3 thing, did you adjust the power up? I know you did the level 3 thing, that enables you to tune the power up. Did you turn the power up? Well, I guess we're about to find out then. We're about to go racing. Well, here we go then. There is your grid. Pagani on pole, T. Smith alongside him, SBY and Rom on the 2nd row. Dartbolt and Blue Flag on the 3rd, Steph and Junkie Sport on the 4th row. 30 laps ahead of us. Looking at a 2-stopper probably here. And away we go. So the bad start by Rom. Blue Flag's got a big jump on him off the line. SBY's got the jump on T. Smith as well for P2. Pagani gets a good launch, he leads. They head into turn 1 for the first time. The cars fan out. Everybody seems to get through okay though. And then has eventually started. Off the back of the pack already though. Pagani then leads. SBY in 2nd. T. Smith into 3rd. Blue Flag is 4th. Rom is in P5 ahead of Dartbolt. Junkie Sport. Mikey up to P8, then jump Steph off the line. Fever and Spike to the 3 orange cars all together. Nobby Norris P12, Callboy in 13th ahead of Devil's Nightmare. Another orange car. Lennon trying to sort out what's going on with his car. Pagani then is your race leader by 4 tenths of a second, so expect to see a big slipstream train here. Bob trying to come back at Blue Flag, P4. Like going a little defensive into the hairpin. SBY is wide, T. Smith up the inside through the hairpin, and he'll take P2 back. Dropping behind him. Pagani meanwhile have got out of their slipstream range, which is 3/4 second Rom. They're making the move on Blue Flag into the hairpin for 4th. Mikey battling over P7. Mikey gets to run out the final corner. I think just clip the grass. And Mikey is through and up to P7, so he's had a very strong start. Smith now looking to bring down that gap to Pagani to get back into slipstream, which he is right on the cusp of, and now he should be picking it up. SBY took around his rear wing. There's a gap of a second back to Rom and Blue Flag, who are nose to tail through turn 1. Oh, Mikey's gone deep into turn 1. He's in the gravel and loses 3 places, and possibly a couple more. P10, Nobby Norris up the inside. Mikey hands on around the outside, drifting. He's now very narrow on the inside. Gives up the place to Nobby Norris, has a big slide, so Mikey's had a bit of a drama. Callboy keeping touch. Lennon seems to have sorted himself out now as he tries to chase down Devil's Nightmare. 15th then back with your race leaders. Is your race leader by 6 tenths of a second. Top 3 have made a bit of a break. There's 1.5 seconds now, so Rom has lost another half a second to these 3. He's going to be pushing a little bit harder to try and get back on terms with the fuel strategy, with potentially running in a slightly lower fuel mode than No2 with a bit of lift and coast, short shifting, you can make the 10 laps. So, oh, SPY's wide, gets it on the grass, gets it snaking, but gathers it up. 2 times over, gets it stopped for the hairpin. That's Brown tries a moment for him there. Expect to see a few more at that corner in this race. Let's let Rom close a little bit. In fact, no, it hasn't. Rom lost another 10th per second. So, front 3 are pulling away. Fastest lap for T. Smith, 37.6. Look at the fuel situations. Everybody down to about a quarter of just under a quarter of a tank. Oh, Steph sideways through turn 1. Gonna let Fever go as he lost a little bit of momentum there. These cars just do a little bit, get a little bit lively at the back. Norris Mikey has regrouped then in P11, giving chase to Nobby Norris. He's got Spike just tucked in behind them. His ex-Arrows livery. 13th, double Nightmare 14th. Lennon is in the pits. I think he's struggling with the car. I'm not quite sure what's gone wrong. Something's wrong settings-wise. Gran still leads the race then. He'll come to complete lap 3 into the hairpin for the 3rd time. T. Smith and SPY are right on the back of him. Rom has now closed that gap and has also put some time into blue flag. So the front 3 are away. Rom trying to make it a foursome at the front. Blue flag and Dark Bolt giving chase. And we've got a gap of 3 seconds back to Junkie Sport, who's got Fever now tucked right under his rear wing. Going to make the move. He's just going to sit there and play the fuel game. He goes to the inside as they run up towards turn 1. Down the inside he goes. Gets the car stopped. Junkie Sport's going to hang on around the outside. I'm going to go side by side through the S's. This is not complete yet. Fever seems to have got his nose in front, but Junkie Sport hanging on. Fever comes across, takes the line, and the position is his. So that's P7 for Fever. So can he do anything about trying to close that gap down? 3 now glued together here. 12-wheeler for the lead, and Rom is closing. That gap is now under a second. Back in 4th place is T. Smith, about to take the lead of the race. He is. T. Smith hits the front for the first time. Dropping behind him. Look at how everybody's fuel's doing. So T. Smith now at the front on about 2/3 of the tank. Pagani about the same. SPY slightly better on fuel. Rom maybe slightly worse. He's had to push a little bit to bridge that gap. He is now there though. Blue flag 1.6 seconds back. He's doing slightly better on fuel than Dark Bolt. SPY is currently the man with the best fuel at this front quartet. There's a big wobble coming out of turn 1, and that's just giving T. Smith a bit of a break. And Rom, meanwhile, SPY got held up behind Pagani, has now lost the position to Rom. So Rom moves up to P3. Top 3 then have sort of the same fuel, but SPY slightly better off, so he'll maybe make up a little bit of time in the pit stop in this first stint. Might see him jump back ahead of Rom. Possibly Pagani, depending on how much you can save between now and the rest of the race. But Tom has now made a break of 1.1 seconds. This is the biggest lead we've seen. That is Tom trying the 3-stopper. He did say the other night that he made this work. And of course, with the extra, of course, the game they've increased the pit stop time loss Whereas before you could literally dive into the pits, your car would arrive straight at your box, you get your fuel tyres and be on your way in 6 or 7 seconds with a full tank. Now they actually factor in the time lost going down the pit lane as well, so the full pit lane tyres and a full tank of fuel is about 38 seconds. Now you won't lose all of that with an extra stop because you won't need to do a full top up, but not potentially. It's the fastest lap of the race in a 37.3. Rom now up to P2 behind him, he's going to give chase. 38.1, so 8/10 of a second lost. And T. Smith is starting to pull away here. Garney looking a little bit ragged there again, having a bit of a moment coming out of one. SBY's fallen off the back as well. He's playing the fuel game. He's not that much better off on fuel than the two directly ahead of him. T. Smith is actually better than Rom and Pagani behind him. SBY's got to Blue Flag's 1.4, so Blue Flag's taken a couple of attempts out of SBY. He's now back within slipstream range of Pagani, so pull him back onto the tail of the podium positions. To the back. Pagani, but now Rom is trying to make a break, and Rom has now got out of Pagani, so having led the race early on, Pagani has now just started to slip away from the front two. Gap now 2 seconds to the lead. About the same. SBY is going to be slightly better off again now. And the cars ahead of him. Blue Flag, that gap's still 1.6 seconds. Dartbolt back in P6. Losing time as well, so I've expected a little bit more from Dartbolt, to be honest. Very competitive F1 driver. These cars, I think, definitely suit drivers who made the transition from F1. So we saw Jono and Unsafe, who were both F1 stalwarts. Chubbs as well last night had good pace early on. These cars drive in much the same way. Fever then up into P7. Further back, he's now made the break from Junkie Sport, who's just been passed by his teammate Steph, in fact. So Steph now up to P8. Sport down to P9, and they've got Nobby Norris and just Mikey not too far back. Gap between Junkie Sport and Nobby Norris is 1.7. What can Nobby Norris do about those two? Can they make that a 4-car battle? Mikey recovering after that early off when he was up in P7. Regroup, settle down. Now gives chase to Nobby Norris, sitting in nicely, looking after his fuel. Oh, look at the difference between Mikey's fuel and Nobby Norris's fuel. That's massive. So Nobby Norris on just under half a tank. Mikey looks like he's pushing. So he's on just under a quarter. He goes down the inside of Nobby Norris at the hairpin, so he's going to take P10. And you want Indy Lynn? Right, hang on. Just missed some drama for Nobby Norris. Junkie Sport continuing to battle. Junkie Sport goes back past Steph down the straight. He's going on further forward. SBY is now up to third, so Pagani is just dropping backwards here. He's now 1.3 seconds behind SBY, so SBY up onto the podium places again. Pagani now dropping back towards Blue Flag. He's lost a bit of time, in fact, to this front four. Got 1.9. Fever has caught Dartbolt, so what has happened to Dartbolt? He's just in a 1:42.8, that'll probably explain why he's suddenly back with Fever. Dartbolt having a drama somewhere. Fever is the lucky recipient of P6. These two now going to battle. Is the lead gap? It's still 2 seconds exactly, so Rom has not started to hold the gap. Can he do anything about closing it though?
I'm here now.
Here he is. You forget to adjust the power.
No, I don't know what's happening because he's all full. Like on the bottom of it as well.
So you've done the level up and you move the bar over to 132.
Yeah, like underneath where it says level 3, you click onto that and you move it all the way up, don't you?
Well, 130 up to 132. How bizarre.
I don't know what's happening. I don't know. I'll bring PS5.
No, I think so. Yeah. Well, definitely. That's why I've not bothered yet. Well, in the meantime then, so it's T. Smith drifting out of the left-hander there. What I'll do is rear tyres no good. He's now on the grass. So a scruffy couple of corners from T. Smith. Is that going to let Rom start to just reel that gap in a little bit? He's pulled another 10th off just before that. No, Rom not able to capitalise. Move to very similar on fuel. SBY again just slightly better off. Pagani just doesn't seem to have the pace at this stage of the race. He's just dropped back from SBY. Top 5 now fairly clear but fairly strung out. Let's see what's going on a bit further back. Dartbolt is back ahead of Fever in the battle for P6. In the background, Junkie Sport and Steph still going at it as well. Aubrey Norris now back into P10 because it looks like Mikey has pitted. He has. Fresh boots, full tank of fuel, and he's on his way. Gap for the race lead still 2 seconds. Top 5 now very, very much strung out. Yeah, from 5 the gap between Blue Flag and Dartbolt is 6 seconds, 8 seconds there, so yeah, Dartbolt a couple of scruffy laps, he's really dropped off the back. Fever's still very much with him, so those two turns, you can see now a few cars starting to drop onto the red line, so expect the pit stops this lap, reach lap 10.
We were saying before the race, weren't we? Like, there's like a top 5, maybe 6 that will probably just run away with the race. Well, kind of proving it now, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. We saw last night though, it can come back, but T. Smith doing everything he needs to do at the moment. He's got the gap of just under 2 seconds there, so he's maybe lost a couple of attempts to Rom on this lap.
Come on, Rom.
We saw a couple of drivers yesterday run out of fuel at this stage trying to get to the pits. Will everybody make it this time around? We're getting very close on fuel. SBY's taken half a second out of Rom. Smith just continues to hold that gap at 2.1 seconds, so flawless drive. Didn't get the great start, but quickly made the move on SBY for P2. Took the lead from Pagani. And there's not looked back since. We'll come to make the first of the pit stops for the race leaders. In comes T. Smith, in comes Rom.
Yeah.
SBY in as well. Carney is in. Blue Flag will be in.
Do you think everyone can do the 2 spot?
Looks like it, they've all got to lap 10 apart from Mikey. Mikey pitted early, so I think he possibly has changed strategy. Got Bolt coming in, Fever's coming in.
Mikey doing Mikey things.
Junkie Sport and Steph in they come. Melvin Norris will be in as well. So SBY there, you can see 2 litres more than T. Smith, 1 more than Rom. How much time will they make up in the pits? Might find out. Top 3 are on their way. As is Blue Flag. Pagani has lost a couple of seconds to SBY. That gap's now 4 between 3rd and 4th. So Pagani there losing out.
Yeah, I saw eyes closing on Rom as well.
Yeah, he's closed on Rom. Yeah, we saw he had at least a litre less to put in, and that has just helped get that gap under a second again. So if he can get back into slipstream range, that would be ideal. Although he's had a bit of a scruffy couple of corners there, and Rom has just tried to open that gap up straight away. Now, obviously, these cars are very kind to the tyres, so even after 10 laps, the tyres still got plenty of life in them, but you can't, obviously trying to save fuel, you can't really use the best of them at this stage of the race because obviously everybody's on the fuel saving game. And the pit stop loss time is so great that it doesn't really make any benefit to pushing because T. Smith has been doing 37s pretty much the whole race, even with the fuel save, so which is probably not far off the ultimate pace, so you're not really going to be making, unless you were doing 36s, mid 36s every lap, you wouldn't have been able to make it work.
Yeah, they was in the pits more than 10 seconds, weren't they? So
yeah, it's about 12 seconds for the actual stop,
yeah.
And then obviously there's another 20 odd seconds trundling down the pit lane, so the total lost time is about 38 seconds now. Well, that's taken a couple of tenths out of T. Smith. It's 1.7 seconds now. Some fresh rubber on. Can he do anything about bridging that gap? Speedway's got that gap held at about 1.1 seconds now, so he's got 3. Fairly clear. Pagani in a bit of no man's land. He's got 4 seconds ahead of him, 3.5 behind him to his teammate.
Mike's about to make a move. Another.
Yeah, on to start finish straight they come. Norris side by side with Mikey. These two resumed their rivalry from earlier in the race. Now has committed 2 or 3 stoppers, so he will be pushing. Oh, pushing hard sideways. Big slide out of turn 1. Catches it.
I want to say nice move, but he made it harder than it was.
He made the move, and then he decided to fend off from Nobby by blocking the entire track. Nobby Norrison having a big slide there through the right-hander, but that's not really his battle. He can let Mikey go because Mikey has got another pit stop to make. Mikey still has 2 stops to make. Nobby should have just the 1. Oh, Spike's having some dramas further back. Have just strung out again, so T. Smith's got that gap back up to 2.1 seconds as it was before the pits, so just roughly a couple of corners. T. Smith does a 37.4, Rom does a 37.8, so that's the 4 tenths that he's lost. So T. Smith once again just being metronomically consistent. His lap times have been since lap 5 of 37.3, 37.5, 37.8, 37.8, 37.7. In his pit in and pit out laps, and he's straight back onto a 37.4. So, Mr. Consistency doing what he does best, because consistency wins you championships, especially if you're consistently first.
Well, you think that, wouldn't you?
You would indeed. So
yeah, it's crazy. Like in what? He's probably running in what, mode 2 for the whole race, and he's consistently in mid 37s is quite.
Yep. It's some feet, yeah, a bit of short shifting as well. Lifting coast. Seems to hit his brake mark, but his markers are just absolutely perfect. Arcs around the hairpin. You can see just short shifting, look, he's not getting all the way up to the revs, so just short shifting maybe 15% early. Maybe a bit early there in 5th into 6th for this corner, just get the car settled. Using all the track.
I thought that was trying to form a 6 all the way to 9.
Yeah, so
well, maybe not Dart Bolt, but the three behind him definitely.
Yeah, so Fever's dropped off the back of Dart Bolt, so Dart Bolt had a moment just before the pit stops that dropped him back to Fever. Seems to have just pulled away again. Now Junkie Sport and Steph are closing in. Fever put places earlier on in the race after Steph had a bit of a drama. Caught and past Junkie Sports. These 3 are now coming together nicely. Further back, just Mikey in 10th, pushing hard. Very wide there on the hairpin. Cooks on the dirt, but just avoids the wall. Nobby Norris behind him. She's lapping consistently as well. Doing everything used for the fuel. Spike has recovered after his drama. And Joe having a good run in P13. A little bit wide there, just kicks up some dirt. Front 3 as you were.
Feel I just feel if Mikey didn't do that early start, I don't know why he'd stop, but I feel like he could definitely be in that battle for 7th, 8th, 9th potentially if he didn't have to stop.
He had a good, he got up to P7 early on, and then just went a little bit hot into the first corner, just went to the gravel and gave up the places to these three drivers here, so he would have been in this battle definitely. I don't know if maybe he just lost his head slightly, just pushed a little bit too hard, didn't save enough fuel, and decided he's now committed to the 3-stopper. So he's now going flat out.
He's not crazy to make the 3-stopper work, because he's still got to then close that right back up to Nobby Norris and have to make the 3rd stop. And
it'll be a shorter stop, but I need more than the 5 seconds he's currently got. But I'm only getting a big power slide coming out of the hairpin. A long way to go. Oh, Steph's wide. Is he going to catch that or is he going to lose it? He's going to hit the wall. Straightens him up. A big moment there through that very fast left-hander.
Right on the back of Junkie Sport, weren't he? And but if the guy, caught him out, or he just
place that caught me out last night. I had a big drama there. In fact, I think I had 2 actually. So that corner is very tricky.
It's one that you think you can take flat out sometimes, but then especially in the dirty day, you just get lift off a little bit more than you think, and then as through them there, it is a difficult corner than you actually think it is.
You certainly do. Stefan now got 2.3 seconds to try and catch back up to Junkie Sport. So that's kind of just spread out the gap, although Fever is not letting Dartbolt get away. So this battle isn't necessarily over. Dartbolt is not clear. Gap is 1.3. And Fever is chipping away here. Took half a second out of him on that last lap. Up front, gap is as you were, 2.2 seconds between 1st and 2nd. SBY just slipping a little bit further back now in P3, it's almost 3 seconds, but he's now got 7 seconds over Pagani. So Pagani and blue flag look fairly secure for 4th and 5th. Not anything for you from 3 at the moment. In the minute, nobody's got anything at all, though Nom has now taken a couple of tenths out of him on this lap. See what the lap times are. Tony Smith having just done a 37.1, which was the fastest lap of the race. There's a 37.3 on this lap. Rom just a 37.1, so there's those 2 tenths back. So almost matches the fastest lap. It's been a 37.5.
That's not changing really. It's just going from lap 1.9 to 2.2 roughly. And it's just
Fever
they just cancel each other out, aren't they?
Just exchanging tenths every couple of laps at the moment. Meanwhile, Fever has got ahead of Dartbolt, so Dartbolt's had another drama somewhere.
Ooh.
Down to P7. Yeah, he's done a 41.7, so not a great lap from Dartbolt. A mistake somewhere in that, and Fever has pounced. Junkie Sport there in the background, still waiting to pounce as well. Can he get involved? Oh, he's a little bit wide there though, just kicks up the gravel. Steph behind doing the same as he tries to get back on terms. He's got that gap down to 1.8, so he is closing in. Look at how everybody's fuel is in this grid. They're all about the same. They're all pretty much bang on half a tank. And so Steph doing everything he needs to get back on terms. Pushing hard there. Having a bit of a wobble as he just caught the dirt at the end of the circuit. Does a personal best in the first sector. Oh, Mikey's had a drama. Big drama. He's had a slide. He's caught it. He's lost a bag full of time there. All that time he made up on Nobby Norris, I think, has gone on what will be his in-lap. So Mikey suffering the same issue that I had last night, where you're pushing and you make more mistakes.
Like you said, it's actually quicker just taking your time. Like I said, you're short shifting, you're in mode 2, and like I said, it's so much quicker overall. And I feel like, when you start pushing, you get on, as soon as you touch the grass or even the wall, you're losing a couple of seconds, maybe even more, like Mikey has. And
he's on the grass again. He's had a big slide. He's caught it again, but Mikey looking ragged. He's cooked that right rear tyre. That's probably not going to be helping, and these cars are very sensitive at the rear to excessive tyre wear.
I think he might have lost his head.
A little bit. I think he's done exactly what I did last night. Lost his head in the first section, and then you're pushing on to try and make up your time, and you make more mistakes, and you actually end up going slower. And it's far from ideal. Dartbolt and Fever are now together again on track.
Yeah.
So Dartbolt's regrouped. So 38.7 on the lap. Fever ahead of him to 38.5.
Or Tom's just rapid. I can't tell what's happened.
Let's have a look at T. Smith.
Now.
Well, we'll find out on this lap because this is the... Yeah, they did almost identical lap times last time around, so something on this lap, so it looks like Robin's made a mistake somewhere. Gap to SBY. Also looks like it's come down a little bit. Let's have a look what Tom's done on this lap. He did a 37.3, Ron does a 38.5, yeah, so Robin's made a mistake somewhere.
Oh! Phoebe's in the wall.
Oh, Phoebe's hit the wall then through the fast right-hander, probably fast left-hander, and that's cost him 2 places to Dartbolt and to Junkie Sport, and Steph's now right on his tail, so his teammates joined him.
I didn't see what happened, I just literally flipped onto it and he was, well, just grazing the wall. I couldn't tell what happened either.
Looks like he's made a mistake through that fast left-hander, either clipped the wall on the inside or on the outside, or just drifted wide. Through goes Steph. Give a moment just to regroup. Can't do anything about Junkie Sport, who is now looking at the back of Dartbolt. Behind them, so Norby Norris in P10, Spike in P11, slightly low in the race for him. Callboy now up to P12. With just Mikey having just pitted. Looks like we've lost Devil's Nightmare somewhere along the way, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think he left not too long ago after I did. I think, yeah, he must have made a mistake. It must have been like, as far as I was, so I think he just, yeah, called it a day, I guess.
Shame to see these cars are quite tricky though. I think a few people struggled last night as well, so are quite twitchy because we're back in a little bit more stable cars next week in the Group 3s for time trial week. .37s again, normally in the 38s. That's everybody's fuel. SPY again better on fuel, so he should make up some time on Rom in the pit stops. And they'll be hoping he can stay with him in the final stint. Hopefully, if he can do the same again, have something to attack with at the end of the race, see if he can snatch P2. God, now 11 seconds behind the front three. Really just not had the pace for those three at the front.
Oh, battle for 6.
Junkie Sport has caught Dartbolt. There we go then. Steph is rapidly joining them as well. Bring in Fever. Junkie Sport just dips a wheel into the gravel. It's okay though, gives Dartbolt a little bit of respite for a couple of corners. This is the biggest battle on track at the moment then, so we'll keep an eye on this. Dartbolt sideways, Junkie Sport kicks up the dirt, and Steph's now going to be right under his rear wing. Soaring at the wheel, then through that left-hander. Just the back end tries to snap out of line. Have a good run up the hill here. Does Junkie Sport have the slipstream? He does, so he's been pulled along as well, but Steph touches right in behind. What do you think about moving to the hairpin? Pulls to the inside, just showing in the mirrors. Fever now doing his best to try and get back on terms. Through a couple of corners and Junkie Sport's right back on him. Oh, he's wide, he's on the grass, he's having a big moment, gathers it up. Brilliant car control from Dartbolt. He's now got 2 cars latched onto his wing. Junkie Sport's wide. Just gets turned in before the wall. Junkie Sport trying to get alongside Dartbolt then. To come out of the final corner. No, here he goes. And Steph's got a double slipstream hit. Dartbolt drops back into Junkie Sport slipstream then. That's the run up to turn 1. And you think about a move back. Not quite close enough, so now he's going to follow Junkie Sport. He takes a high wide line. Oh, Fever's having a drift in the background. So expect the pit stops to occur this lap. Let's have a look at everybody.
Yeah, SPY's closing in. He's got loads much more fuel. I think loads more, but clearly a lot more.
been able to just close that gap again. Also, the gap to the leaders come down a little bit. It's now down to 2.8. That's over 3 seconds, so Smith's had a scruffy lap somewhere. But still comfortable in the lead. Pagani and Blue Flag circulating together. He's got 14 seconds in front and 18 seconds behind. We've got this great 3-car scrap between Junkie Sport, Dartbolt and Steph. Steph closing, looking for a move. Oh, Dartbolt's gone wide at the hairpin. Sweeps around. Steph in the pits there. You can see Ron with just a litre of fuel, so SBY potentially could jump him here. He's going to be stationary for a little bit less time. Pagani in with 6 litres of fuel.
Yeah.
That's the most fuel out of everybody in the top 5. Blue Flag with 2. These guys then swing right into the pit lane. On the way go your race leaders. Smith out in the lead. To catch up again.
Look at the gap now though, he's within slipstream. SBY.
SBY right on the back of Rob now. So can he stay with him? At this stint, can he do anything about your race leader? SBY's aim at this Rob's a little bit sideways there as he gets the tyres up to temp. He's a little bit wide on the curb. Okay. Again, they're taking a couple of tenths out of T. Smith, who's just taking his time getting his tyres up to temperature. Gap down to 2.3.
Maybe work together.
That'll be the aim. Yeah, so they're pulling each other down the straights or giving each other a push, although you've got the catching up to Corboy, who could in turn give a slipstream to T. Smith down the start-finish straight, depending on where he catches him. Whether or not the car will ghost, so he should still get the slipstream. Right to the back of Ram at the hairpin. Look further back at this battle that's come out of the pits, it's as you were. I think they're still just trying to get back on terms, they've just strung out a little bit. It's looking a very lonely P10, although he's gone extra lap in fact, so he's got more fuel. So he'll be stationary a little bit less. That Mikey in P11 in a moment. Norris haven't just pitted, but Mikey is half tank, so he's got another stop to make. Corboy they're getting out of the way as the front 3 come through. Let's stay in the slipstream then. Can he hang with Rom?
Yeah, SDR is in a great position here because you can just save fuel, or they can try and potentially work together on probably bumping down the straight to try and catch up to Tom. And if that don't work, like I said, he saves so much fuel right at the end. He can run in also the fastest engine mode and easily get second, potentially even first if he has enough fuel.
I'm a little bit ragged there. They've taken another couple of tenths out of T. Smith. It's down to 2 seconds. And Rom is slightly better on fuel at SBY at this stage. Oh, SBY's clipped the wall. And there the gap starts to open up. So Rom is out of slipstream range and has got that gap down to under 2 seconds. So suddenly, it's not necessarily. We saw this last night with Jono and Unsafe. They've had an amazing pace in that last stint. Closed right in on Jono, who led from the word go. You just feel though that T. Smith will get it under control. Gap starting to go back up again already. He's up to 2.1 again. The battle for P6 raging on. Sport and Dartbolt. Steph still just about in touch. Fever as well, just lurking in the background. Keep pushing on. And P10. He has another stop to make though. Nobby Norris now P11 as Spike has pitted. Spike as well. Again, the possibility of some slipstream here just to help pull him away.
Yeah, but if you're Fever, you're praying these them three at least, or if the other two do fight, because at the speed, yeah, he's just not running. Ever since he made that mistake, he's just not running the same sort of pace. I'm not sure if he just lost his head or whatever, but he just needs to compose himself, because they're literally right there. 6th place is still a great result considering the top 5 and how they've been performing all race so far and all season really.
Yeah, still points to be played for here. So the 3 in front of him did 38s on last lap. So Junkie Sport at 38.9, Dartbot at 38.4, which was his personal best, and Steph did a 38.1, his personal best as well. Fever down to 39.0. You can just see that gap there, but he's still mindful. He's got to save some fuel to get into the end. You know, he's on the same fuel as the guys ahead of him, so he's got that bit under control. He just needs to find the time to get up now. Junkie Spot making a bit of a break here. He's now got out of slipstream range of Dartbolt, and Steph is back into the slipstream. Dartbolt going from attack to defence. An hairpin for the 23rd time. Fever's got that gap down to 2 seconds again, so he's not out of this. If he can keep himself clean for a couple of laps. We've seen mistakes from these guys ahead of him. We'll get through that corner cleanly this time. Just as Fever in the background. If Steph can start attacking. Oh, he came in hot there. Just got it stopped without any contact, but it looked close for a moment.
Good job, his car's got good brakes, haven't they?
Yeah, I saw no Punterino Jimmer just flash up there. Just drop a little bit there just to give himself a bit of a breather. He's still in the slipstream though. Pulls him down, start finish straight. Change at the front. It is no. Gap to the lead 2 seconds. Gap to second and third 1.2. Ron was actually doing better on fuel in this stint than SPY. So SPY's maybe just either tried to short fuel marginally to gather a bit of time up and with a view of being in Rom's slipstream to pull him along, or he's just had to push a little bit harder. Try and save some of the next in. Pagani and Blue Flag just circulating. And we've got this battle. Fever's just dropped back a little bit more then, so I've got within 2 seconds of the cars. This time around he's 3 seconds, so he's had a scruffy start with his lap. Mikey on his in lap, so this will be his final stop. In P10, a bit of a lonely ride for him. Save the Spike. He's just had the leaders are coming up behind him again, I believe. No, they've just gone past him, haven't they, to the light?
Yeah. SPY's using, yeah, like I said, he's using a lot more fuel. You can tell he's got the gap under a second now, but you just feel like using this much fuel. I know you can save fuel in the slipstream, but if you like using this much fuel, it could cost him right at the end here. But
Rom's wide. Again, that just let a couple more tenths off. And here comes SPY. He can get in the slipstream, he can start to save again then, as long as he doesn't make Rom's a little bit wide there. He gets out, keeps out the wall. However, SPY has now got the slipstream, so that will help, a big help to him. I'll pull him onto the back of Rom again. Can just save a little bit of fuel. It's not a lot, but on that last lap it could be everything. Save a bit in the slipstream for a couple of laps, get himself on terms or get himself ahead on the fuel. That just means that at some point on that final lap he can open it up to 1 and just push.
I've only just noticed there's 3 orange cars.
There was 4. Well, bear in mind, Devil's Nightmare was running an orange livery as well earlier on. But yeah, Spike was in last night's race, but unfortunately when the lobby glitched it kicked him and Zom out and SPY from the stream. Okay. And he asked if he could race tonight, so we allowed him to race tonight. So, obviously we didn't have a protocol in place last night, but we've got something in place going forward. Now SPY right in a run.
I literally didn't even notice.
Happened about lap 8, I think it was. And a bit of a glitch, and it kicked SPY out, kicked Spike out, kicked Zom out. And we decided to carry on, because obviously we've seen it in the past where I saw last season GT2 at Maggiore when it, obviously as I was streaming it glitched out and it looked like most of the people left the lobby, when in actual fact it was only me and Panda that had left the lobby, so nobody panicked. obviously had all the admins in the chat last night. I said, boy, just sparks off the wall. He's pushing. It was Rom, sorry. Now it does look like he's nearly... There's a little bit of fuel in it still, but the SBY there's just done the fastest lap of the race on that lap of 36.9, so he's had the slipstream all that lap, or most of that lap. That's different it makes. Rom did a 37.6.
It's not a bad lap there, that's the worst thing about it. Rom's running actually a pretty good lap. Yeah, like I said, the slipstream is just so powerful, it's unreal.
Yeah, I mean, look at him. Ooh. It's just super on edge, aren't they, sometimes? Especially through that corner.
Yeah, it probably looks worse on stream or... Yeah, and actually
little twitches. Yeah, the little twitches are okay in the car. You probably don't notice them, but they look quite exaggerated from the outside. Yeah, because look at Tom's lap times. They've been 30. This is pit stop were 37.8, 37.6, and 37.1, 37.2, 37.3. Rom has been in the 37s the whole time, but is just losing 4 or 5 tenths a lap, and that gap is now 3.2. Plus the fact that he's now got SBY routed to his rear wing. Means that Tom is just easing away with just 3 and a bit laps to go. As you will, Steph has got the move done on Dartbolt for P7. Still loop together, and Junkie Sport is in slipstream range as well, so these 3 duking it out still for another 4 laps. They're about to start lap 27. Steph closing on Junkie Sport down the straight with the slipstream. He's pulled in nearly half a second. It's the break to turn 1. They'll get round okay, they do. Just runs right to the white line. Keeps it on the black stuff. The gap to Fever's now 4.9 seconds, so Fever, who's just seen those guys just ease away, all those little errors just added up, and he's just been dropped, so barring some dramas ahead of him, I don't think he's going to get back on terms. Nobby Norris running around in P10. Mikey is in the wall as they come back to him just as the leaders come round as well. I'm sorry, Mikey. He's in P11. He's just pitted for the final time, so he has come out ahead of Spike Corboy. He's now in between race leader and the battle for P2. Mike still very much on the back of Ron, and the fuel is nearly the same now, so SBY is caught back up in terms of the fuel. 3 laps to go. SBY just needs to stay right where he is. Doesn't need to force the move just yet. Still time. Mike gets out of the way. Ron goes for a little bit of slipstream there, almost clipped the back of him. Looks like it's going to be the biggest battle in terms of position changes. Have a look what's going on for P6. So Dartbolt back ahead of Steph. Steph's had a scruffy couple of corners and he's dropped out of the slipstream as well, so he's got to fight to get back again. Start lap 28. Sport's driven very well in this one.
Yeah, he's been pretty consistent there.
Indeed, his lap times very good, yeah, very consistent in his lap times. Not made too many mistakes. Although he just say he does a massive black line around the left hand, the rear wheel.
Which is when I'm bored of him, and yeah.
Just let Dartbolt close in a little bit. Steph there in the background. There is it in the background is Fever, his teammate. He's closed the gap down a little bit. You can still see the cars ahead of him, so if any mistakes he will be there. He just clips the wall as well, but he's not there battling where he'd want to be. Now going super defensive, then up to start finish straight, hugging the inside. They come up to the braking zone. 2 laps to go now, we're on the penultimate lap. Gap to the lead is 2.8 seconds, that's come down a little bit. The fuel situation seems to be about the same between SBY and Rob now, so gloves are off. Can SBY get into a position to make a move? Back out of the hairpin they come. Dartbolt having a big twitch. Still got slipstream though, and Steph just outside of it still. Legging on. Trying to get back on terms. Before the end of the race, he's got 2 laps to do it. Now look at the battle for P2. Ron has just managed to pull away out of the slipstream range of SBY. That could be critical. Can SBY get back into that slipstream range before the end of the lap?
Yeah, you got to feel Ron's probably slammed it into mode 1 for that, just for that straight, just to get out of slipstream, and well, probably could say it's P2 here.
Yeah, very much so. Just out of it. This hairpin's going to be critical as well. Can SBY do anything on the brakes? Clean. He's closing, but he's not going to be in slipstream range. So Reese then come around to start the final lap. Smith crosses the strike. 37.5 again. Look at those lap times. Consistency personified. Hugging the inside. He's not giving the slipstream to SBY then, so he's got to keep it clean now. He's got him at arm's length. Do they have the fuel to get there? They're looking about the same. Pagani in a very lonely P4. 22 seconds now the lead between 3rd and 4th. Comfortable points for Pagani and Blue Flag. Sport and Steph and Darbolt are all together again, so Steph has bridged that gap. They're coming to start the final lap. Darbolt are right in the slipstream of Junkie Sport.
Oh, it's now or never, isn't it?
It's a good time to make the move. Darbolt going into the slipstream. He's going to go to the inside and run up towards turn 1. He's going to go wheel to wheel. Oh, contact. Junkie Sport trying to turn in. Oh, he's had a big slide there. Darbolt gets the move done. That's going to let Steph try and buy back into this well. Steph's got back into slipstream range there for the final lap. Can he get back on terms? Darbolt very sideways through the left-hander. Turning for the right. Junkie Sport just clips the grass on the outside there. Just run off the corner. Steph just dropped back out of slipstream range momentarily. A good corner here though. He might get back on terms. Junkie Sport though is starting to home back in again on Darbolt. Meanwhile, T. Smith crosses the line. He wins. The Red Bull Junior Week. Ron comes home P2. SBY comes home 3rd. Junkie Sport goes for the move, gets it done. Into the hairpin. Can Darbolt do the switch back? Pagani coming across the line then in a moment. Blue Flag not far behind him. They'll go back to this battle though. Steph can see this as well. Steph's closing in again as well. This isn't over. Through the left-hander they go. They all get round okay. Is Darbolt going to be close enough for a move to the hairpin? No. Not likely. He's right on the back of Junkie Sport. He's a good exit here. Oh, Junkie Sport clipped the wall. There, he's gone round. And Steph's going to come through. Steph snatches P6 on the final lap. Can Darbolt get a run to the flag? I don't think so. He's going to have enough straight. Oh, he's out of fuel. And Darbolt steals P6 on the death.
Oh, Steph.
So unlucky for Steph. Junkie Sport cursing his luck. He comes home in P8. Fever wasn't close enough to capitalise. He'll be P9. Mikey Spike and Callboy, or Mikey Spike have finished. Callboy and Nobby Norris are rounding the hairpin together now. Nobby Norris on the grass.
Oh, Steph.
Oh, Steph there went from nowhere. 8th to 6th and ends up with a P7. Callboy crosses the line. He'll finish 13th and Nobby Norris comes home and rounds out the top 10. And he is the final finisher. There we have it then. The Red Bull Junior Week is over and done, and with inevitability, here's T. Smith who comes away victorious. A double for Dead Bull Racing. After getting a tardy getaway, he came back, picked off Pagani, picked off SBY, and then just kept everybody at arm's length for the remainder of the race, despite the best efforts of Romo SBY. Right, and so that is the end of the action for this evening and for FTRL for this week. Another week's racing action over and done. I hope you enjoyed the action. We are back on Monday with ACC this week from the legendary Spa-Francorchamps. F1 back Tuesday and Wednesday. We are at Silverstone this week, and then next week it is time trial week again in GT Sport. We are at Dragon Trail Seaside in the Group 3 cars, so do join us next week for a lot more FTRL racing action. Thank you very much for joining us. If you haven't already, please do like the stream. Helps us out immensely, and we will see you again real soon.